Yo. So, I sat down and had a think. And what I thunk was about all of the things that have kept me inspired over the past almost 15 years of making videos. You'd think I'd be washed up and quit by now. Some might argue that I already quit mentally, and others might wish that I quit. Thanks, you're nice. But no, unfortunately, I'm still here. So now I'm going to tell you a bunch of the things that I think have kept me inspired over these many years. 1. Lower the bar. Often we're not inspired because shirt is so hard. Or we've built up things in our head to be such a big obstacle that we don't try. Just lower the bar. You want to start working out? Do 5 push-ups when you wake up in the morning. Want to build a house? Build a house for birds. Want to make a movie? Make a short. Want to make a short? Make a TikTok. Want to make a TikTok? Draw. What is that, like, stuttering Instagram thing called? I don't even know how to look this up. China, what do you call those Instagram stuttering effects?
Boomerangs?
Yeah! Boomerang. Some of the most compelling films I've ever seen were boomerangs. Want to write a novel? Write a short story. Want to write a short story? Write a poem. Want to write a poem? Write a sentence. Want to write a sentence? Write a gerund phrase. Some of the most compelling narratives I've ever read were gerund phrases. Fixing broken bicycles. Oh, so true. It hits you right here. When I started this channel, I lowered the bar. I said, I'm going to just give myself one day. I'm going to use the time I have. I'm going to use the equipment I have. And I'm just going to make a thing. I'm not going to worry about making it look good.
I took the day off of work today so I could surround myself in this heavenly glow. I'm feeling lazy.
I'm not even going to bathe before I do it.
I didn't even want to put on any pants today.
Lazy. I think a lot of inspiration comes from having the time and space and energy to do it. If you don't have time, you'll be like, I don't feel like it. If it seems too hard, you'll be like, I don't feel like it. So adjust the goalpost so it fits in the time and space and energy. And then when you do, you can do the second thing on my list of ways to find inspiration. Complete a lot of things. The act of finishing a thing is inspiring for several reasons. 1, it just feels good, and feeling good motivates you. 2, if it turns out crappy, you can easily forget about it because you're already working on the next thing. 3, it teaches you more about the entire process, not just the beginning of the process if you never finish it. But if you finish a novel, then you gotta go through the editing process and the publishing process and then get to see how an audience reacts to the thing you did. So if you do that a lot of times, all of it will get better and better. And when you gain knowledge, you get excited to want to use that knowledge. For instance, I'm playing Elden Ring right now, and sometimes I'll go to an article for looking for tips or tricks, and I'll learn something, and then I get excited to go back to Elden Ring. It's not the most productive thing to be doing, but there's a productivity law I came across. That's not actually a law. Kinzer's law. About the time you finish doing something, you know enough to start. And another one, Sturgeon's law. 90% of everything sucks. Make a lot of things to learn how to get into that 10%. 3rd, develop an internal locus of control. Not locust of control. That would require developing a super advanced locust that you swallow that then takes over your body and controls you. I will never do that again. Locus of control. Locus just means like a fixed point. Basically, if you're like, sure, it happens, you have an external locus of control. And if you're like, sure, that might happen, but it'll be because I did a dookie. That's that internal locus of control. Basically focusing on what you can control and trying not to play the blame game all the time. I made a video a long time ago called The Most Inspiring Video on YouTube, in which I claim that inspiration doesn't exist. I don't really believe that inspiration doesn't exist. I was just being a bit of a dookie. But I was trying to combat the idea that it only happens by waiting around and having just this inspirational wind of excitement and magic slap you in the face externally.
Hey, beard lovers. Hang on a second. Waiting for inspiration. Nope, not ready for the intro yet. Not ready yet. Bop. Oh, fine.
The point is, if you're blaming external forces for what's happening to you, it's very uninspiring because you think you can't do anything about it. I'm not saying those external forces don't exist and should never be called out, but I think it's good policy to try to take ownership over your failures so that you can figure out how to solve the problem. My attitude most of my life has been kind of just to assume failure. I'm usually prepared for it emotionally so I don't fly off the handle when it happens. I already know what to do in case of failed that one. In case of failure. It's probably why I'm a video editor. Next on the list, bust that cycle. I got this phrase from Ze Frank. Ze Frank was my biggest inspiration to start doing this.
Busting your cycle is where you take one aspect of your life that's more or less constant and you purposely bust it. By temporarily breaking a routine, you can often experience the world in a very different way. This shift in perspective can often lead to elation and a sense of possibility. By going to the dentist, I was trying to bust the cycle of not having people with my mouth.
That's basically all I've been doing on this here YouTube channel for the past 3 years. Get up super early, go to bed super early, quit alcohol or coffee or the internet or wearing a shirt or whatever. Work upside down in your chair. Or even more ridiculous, wear a button down and tie. Point is, to get out of a rut, change it up. Do something ridiculous, particularly if it seems really hard. Like, think of something that is a line in the sand. Like, I would never do this. I think it's an indication you should, if it's legal. I had a friend who hated seafood. Never would eat seafood. I'm never gonna eat seafood. He never did. But I have another friend who did, and now he loves it. So, one example applies here. This attitude obviously has transformed my life. I was never someone who worked out on a regular basis. Now I have an exercise room. I ran a marathon. You'd be surprised what you're capable of. 5, think long term. For me, minimizing the importance of the things I'm doing helps. This is just a stupid video. I hate it. Not that far. But I like to think of my projects as just a tiny little blip in the entire universe. Telling dumb jokes, giving you my dumb ideas. I refer to these things as dumb and stupid because then I'm not getting up in my head about being important, and then that'll keep me from doing it. The best way to minimize the importance is to think about it in the context of my entire life. And a way to do that I got from Austin Kleon's book, Show Your Work. In it, he talks about people inspired by near-death experiences like Steve Jobs. Remembering that you're gonna die is the best way to know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You are already naked. So, what I'm saying is picture Steve Jobs naked. No, I mean maybe, whatever does it for you. But Austin suggests a good way to do that without actually being near death is read obituaries. Obituaries are like near-death experiences for cowards. Reading them is a way for me to think about death while also keeping it at arm's length. So, think about death. Death? Maybe this isn't inspiring to some people. This is really inspiring to me. Death! It helps me accept or not care about failure at all because in the end, I will have a better sense of what's really important. Tacos. 6, exercise your brain. Play games. Like Wordle. Do puzzles. Like Wordle. Write. If by write you mean type, like Wordle. Draw. I can't connect that to Wordle. Converse, especially with positive people.
Shoobity-doobity-doo.
Literal exercise. There's studies that show that physical exercise helps you mentally. And if you can't believe studies, what can you? Well, you probably shouldn't just take all the studies at face value. I mean, do the research. Read. Read widely, fiction and nonfiction. I don't mean read widely, but you could. Here's a bunch of books I was inspired by. Start with Why, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F. Decisive, Made to Stick. Outliers, The Tipping Point. Show Your Work, and How to Do Nothing. Doing nothing. Inspiration. Speaking of, take breaks. Exercise, meditate, take walks, yoga, play video games. One of my favorite ways to take breaks is to walk upstairs and say dumb things to my wife. Hey, China?
Yeah.
How are you?
Great. Why?
I'm just asking.
And then?
Thank you, bye. And of course, do nothing. I think I'm gonna make a video where I do nothing for an hour every day for a month. Not meditate, not go for a walk. Sit in nature and do nothing. Or sit inside and do nothing. The point is, being tired kills your inspiration, but it's only temporary. You need to take breaks, get enough sleep, which I struggle with sometimes, and be reasonable. And finally, self-talk. Do a gratitude journal or just in your head. Think about the things you're thankful for. That always helps me. Affirmations. I tried affirmations in the mirror for a video. I don't know if it really helped much, but I came across this TikTok from motivational guru guy Jim Quick.
Your brain is like a supercomputer and your self-talk is a program it will run. So if you tell yourself you're not good at remembering names, you will not remember the name of the next person you meet because you program your supercomputer not to.
And I've been noticing at times being kind of negative in my head, pessimistic about ideas that I have for videos, and just kind of changing my language in my head. Go back to the other things I mentioned, like this is just a blip in the universe. It's just a dumb video. The next one will be better. In fact, this one will be awesome. You're so amazing. And stupid stuff like that. It's just so easy to make the default sort of cynical. It's a way we protect ourselves, but when you're trying to be creative, it's not useful. I think we're also afraid of deluding ourselves and getting egotistical, and we see some of that behavior in public figures that we don't like, and we just don't want to be that. But I often think I'm overcompensating, and I need to fight it. And when I do, it usually works. I'm so awesome. Awesome. I know being cynical is a lot cooler, and you're taking less risk doing that, but it's so hard to be so cynical when I'm so awesome. So that's it. I hope this helps you find inspiration on a regular basis, but not too much. Take breaks and just do stuff or whatever. And now that I've helped you get inspired, I'd like to tell you about a VPN made by Nord. Thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring this video, or I had to change clothes because the excitement of such an exquisite VPN got me all sweaty. A VPN is a virtual private network which will help protect you from the FPM, which stands for public minefield that is the actual internet. Basically, what a VPN does is, much like when my mom called when I was out cow tipping with friends as a teenager, it tells the internet that you're in a different place than you actually are. And that place is one of more than 5,400 different servers in 60 countries. It's like teleportation, except way more boring. But that's good. Boring is good. Boring is safe. We want boring. They even got double VPN, VVPPNN, for extra protection routing between 2 different VPN servers. Double the encryption, double the boredom. Boredom because no one's stealing your identity. I'm so bored because no one is stealing my identity. But what's not boring is you still have access to the awesome TV shows that you would normally not have access to when you're traveling because you have Nord. You can just tell it that you're still at home so you can keep watching your Real Housewives of Toledo or where other bullshit. Sure. And if you're worldly, you can watch the shows you don't have access to while you're at home. Right, China? Oh, that's not China. That's my wine. Non-alcoholic, China and I are in the middle of quitting alcohol for a year. When I tell you that with Nord you are protected from the baddies out there, if that makes you feel annoyed because then you don't get to steal people's identities, maybe you should ask yourself, are we the baddies? That's a reference to a British show that at the time of its release I did not have access to because Nord did not exist. You do not know how good you have it. So take advantage of this mofo. I almost said mofo. I was supposed to say moment. So take advantage of this mofo. Seriously, it's good. It's simple. It's gimple. It works. Go to nordvpn.com/Wheezy for an exclusive NordVPN deal. Oh, but it's risky. Nope, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. Give it a try. Now I will metaphorically use Nord to make you think that I'm dressed fancy again, even though I'm still in these clothes. Much like how Nord... You get it. That's it. Thank you for watching. I've been doing live streams of me editing these very videos over on Wheezy News. I link down there. Newsletter that I've been doing every Tuesday. Two's Better Newsletter. Be a Two's Better Newsletter getter. I link down there. Been making some short videos on Instagram and TikTok lately. I link down there. YouTube thinks you'll like that video. There's another video there. I'm not sure what I'm going to put there yet. You can subscribe right there. And you can support me on Patreon if you'd like. Death!